The first volume of Stranger Things Season 4 gave fans everything they were expecting and more. With only 7 episodes, Stranger Things was able to tell a gripping, chilling, horrific yet exciting and incredible story. A story with several powerful moments that will forever be talked about. Stick around because you don't want to miss this amazing countdown. Almost every moment of this season was impactful, but these are the moments that conveyed the most emotion. Number 5, Steve's near death. Steve may have started off as Nancy's annoying boyfriend, but as the seasons have passed, he has become a fan favorite and an irreplaceable character. His death would have hit every Stranger Things fan hard. Watching him be bitten and strangled by the Demobats and the Upside Down was a very powerful scene because it almost felt like we might lose him. And the scene had everyone on their toes because it happened at the end of an episode, so everyone had to rush to the next one to find out if the Stranger Things writers were going to kill off such an essential character. As he lays on the ground and the other Demobats gather around to feast on him, it's scary to think that a few more seconds and we could have lost him. We watch him violently struggle for his life, and it almost looks like it's the end for Steve Harrington. Let's just recognize how amazing Joe Keery's acting was at that moment, because it was phenomenal. And the scream he let out at the end showed you just how much pain he was in. Number 4, Victor Creel's story. When Nancy and Robin first meet Victor Creel, he spooks them immediately with his eyes, which had several cuts on them. He goes on to tell them the story of the Creel household murders, detailing his once happy life with his family and how it all changed. After a single month of peace in their new home, the Creel family was thrust into a nightmare that ended in their deaths. Victor describes a gruesome tale that could make for an entire horror movie all on its own. After years of playing Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund brought his skills to Stranger Things, and within a few minutes, he sent chills down everyone's spine. Robert's story-like voice guides us through the intense story of the Creel house tragedy, from the dead animals around their house to the constant nightmares to that fateful night at the dinner table. The story of the Creel house murders is certainly one for the books. Watching Victor desperately try to save his family from a demon he didn't know was his own son was a scene that managed to be as scary as it was exciting. The look on poor Alice's face as she watches her father try to bust the door open after just watching her mother die was one of intense fear. And the story becomes even more powerful when you watch it again, knowing Victor's son was the one who left the dead animals around the house, haunted his family with nightmares, and then brutally murdered them, framing his father in the process. We also see Victor try to join his family by cutting out his eyes, and that just shows how broken he was in that moment. Number 3, Eleven being bullied. Watching Eleven be bullied by Angela and her friends was heartbreaking. The bullies at the school poked fun at Hopper without caring that he was dead. And you could see how much it hurt Eleven to be reminded of Hopper's tragic death, the only father who had ever shown her actual love instead of trying to use her as a weapon. We also get a flashback of her being bullied in the facility, and the stories are almost identical. Number 2 and his friends bully Eleven and warn her not to tell Brenner, just like Angela did with the teacher. The scene where the students skate around her, mocking her, is also identical to the scene with the kids in the lab. We watch Eleven's physical pain in the lab and her emotional pain at the skating rink. When Eleven is finally able to leave the circle, the feeling of pain Millie Bobby Brown conveys is so real that you can't help but feel sorry for her. No matter how much she tried, she couldn't fit in with the kids at the lab or the ones at school, and that clearly affected her. It must be difficult to always feel like the outsider wherever you go. Even when she was in a lab full of kids who were just like her, she still felt like she didn't belong there. Both scenes are incredibly sad because it's easy to see just how much she wants to be accepted and how much it hurts every time she is rejected. Number 2, Max's escape. One of the most powerful moments from Volume 1 was Max's escape from death. What made the scene even more somber for viewers was the fact that Max had already written letters to say goodbye to her loved ones. She even wrote one for Billy and read it to his grave just before Vecna came for her. Vecna had already been haunting her with visions of a grandfather clock like he had done with his previous victims, and this symbolized that they didn't have much time left. Max saw the mangled bodies of the other victims in Vecna's lair, which must have been also really scary for her, thinking that she might end up like them. Vecna also taunts her about joining them before strangling her. The moment is even more terrifying because the group is on the other side desperately trying to wake her up, but not knowing what to do. They play her favorite song into her ears, which opens up a portal in the Upside Down, and Max has flashbacks to the moment with all her friends, which adds even more emotion to the scene. It almost looked like her whole life was flashing before her eyes, But thankfully, she found strength in her memories. She managed to break free and slice Vecna's neck before running desperately towards the portal. Through the portal, she can already see her floating body, so she knows that if she doesn't run fast enough, it's all over. You can feel her emotions in every step she takes. Her desperation, her hope, and her fear are shown as she runs. The music playing in the background, coupled with Sadie Sink's facial expressions and the rocks Vecna with drops from the sky to stop her from escaping, come together to make this a mind-blowing and memorable scene. Arguably, one of the best Stranger Things scenes ever. And when she's finally out, you can see the look of absolute relief on her face as Lucas holds her. Number 1, Vecna's reveal. The reveal of Vecna is number 1 on this list because it was packed with powerful, unexpected moments. We had finally reached the end of Eleven's journey in the Nina Project and realized she was not the one who committed the Hawkins massacre we saw in episode 1. There were several revelations in just a few minutes, making this an incredibly intense scene. As we followed Eleven's memories, we learned that it was number 1 who committed the murders at the Hawkins lab. We also learned that the guard that helped Eleven out when she was struggling in the facility was actually number 1, Brenner's first lab rat. While this is happening, we follow Nancy as she walks through the Creel household, and we find out that number 1 is actually Henry Creel, Victor Creel's son. We see Nancy's look of complete terror as she watches young Henry murder a defenseless rabbit, and Eleven's look of horror as number 1 describes murdering his family. It was almost poetic to watch the stories intertwine to give us the complete story of Henry Creel's journey to become Vecna. From being an innocent, sensitive child to a vile beast bent on killing as many humans as possible. We watched him try to kill Eleven, but she overpowered him and sent him into the Upside Down, where he transformed into the creepy villain we had been following since the first episode. The whole scene gave us a real sense of who Vecna is and why he does what he does. These 5 moments were the most powerful in Stranger Things Season 4, Volume 1. These moments conveyed a variety of emotions from sadness to fear to excitement and even hope, and that is what makes them the most powerful moments. The actors clearly gave their all in each scene of the series, and their devotion came out in the best way. They created a series that will be remembered for years to come.